This is Dr. Roger Elmer, Advanced Neurospinal Solutions, and we're continuing on our addictions videos, answering questions. We discussed why addictions, where addictions are, and we already discussed the neuroscience of the changing the addiction to getting rid of it. Now we're going to talk about some other issues that have to be taken care of in order to truly rid yourself of that addiction. The overstimulation of nucleus accumbens, pleasure center, and then the stimulation of the ventral tegmentum, which is the dopamine circuit, the A10 cells that are giving you that dopamine from the limbic brain, the emotional brain. That's one of the reasons why it's really tough. And it's really tough too because if you think of pain, pain is really two forms. There's pain and then there's suffering. Because you can have a lot of pain and no suffering, but you can have a little pain and a lot of suffering. And the limbic brain is involved in that suffering part of the brain, that suffering part of the pain system. And so what we're trying to overcome, we're going to have to find a way to push ourselves. And that's why boot camps work really well, because boot camps force you to do certain things and make it easy for you not to do certain things. But there are certain things that have to happen, I believe, if you're going to truly rid yourself of the addiction. The 12-step program takes you through and gives you certain things, but I believe that it leaves you hanging. It tells you at the end that you are an addict, and that's who you are, and you define yourself as that, and your brain hears that over and over again. I'm an addict, I'm an addict, I'm an addict. And I think the first thing that you're going to have to get to is, are my emotions for change, my desire for change, my emotion for change, greater than the emotions of the addiction and the power of the addiction? And you're going to have to get yourself there. You're going to have to push yourself there. You can create your own emotions. You can increase the drive of those emotions. You can control it. Most people have to hit rock bottom, they call it. You don't have to hit rock bottom. You can create the bottom for yourself. You can, rather than losing your house and your spouse and sounding like a country western song, right? You can get yourself there and say, I am ready. By practicing getting those emotions that are the kind of drive that would get rid of it. Well, and what you would need to do is, number one, I believe, remember I said that addiction is because you're trying to modulate some other kind of emotion, some other kind of feeling, something that happened or whatever. So we're going to have to fix the reason. Got to fix the reason for the addiction. The reason for the addiction is some emotion, and that emotion came from somewhere. And so you're going to have to face that emotion and say, hey, where did it come from? Why do I have this? When I think back on where this came from, what is it that my brain's telling me that this whole thing came from? And finding that and facing it head on and saying, this is not helpful to me. In fact, it's hurting me. And when you look at it straight in the face, you may find at that time that your brain might even say that's unreasonable, and then that's that. You don't have to deal with that anymore. Or you're going to have to through continuous meditation get to the point where you've changed how you see that thing. And that really is when you change how you see something, that something changes. So, but we got to fix that, because that's the reason you did it in the first place. If you don't fix that, even if you fix the addiction, you're going to find another addiction. Could be your cell phone. I mean, we are addicted to our phones these days. We hear little sounds and boom, we get dopamine. We don't have to see the screen. And we got to immediately pick it up. We got to be close to that cell phone. If we don't have it, well, we start shaking. Say, yeah, we're addicted to it. And we're going to go into some of that with the digital dimension and that. So the second thing that you're going to have to do is redefine yourself. Okay? So you're going to have to basically become a new person. Redefine yourself. Your brain is an archive of who you've been. And who you've been has brought you to this point. And so you wake up in the morning with those emotions, and your brain knows why the emotions are happening, and it knows how to douse those emotions. And that is the essence of the wiring of your addiction. And so you're going to have to come up with a new person. Who are you now? I'm not an alcoholic. You know, as we say over and over again, I'm not an addict. I am something different. And you start living from your new vision of who you are. You're either living through the circuitry of your past, or you're living with your new definition of who you are. And we should be doing that all the time. We should be constantly remaking ourselves a better and better and better version of ourselves. And some of our heroes serve as some of the patterns that we use to continue that process of becoming better and better. I really like that quality in that certain person, and so I'm working on that characteristic in my personality, and I'm wiring new patterns, acting in different ways that I haven't done in the past, and it's literally becoming a part of who I am. Well, now it's wired into an archive, and I'm continuing to make those changes, and that's how we become who we're going to become. And that, but we're going to redefine ourselves, and in that we're going to become a new person. And here's where, when we talk about this 12-step program, I say, you know, they have it right in talking about something bigger than yourself, in terms of a God, right? Something bigger, your maker. And obviously they always say, you define that, you know, how you want. But my recommendation is that you find him. Find him and get his help. Because then you're expressing not only your own power, but you're getting his help in order to make that change. And if you were to really think deeply in your heart right now, do you think he wants you to be addicted to those things? The answer is obvious. Okay? And then the third thing is, I call it, get a life. You're going to create your own life. You're going to come up with this new definition of who you are. Well, how is that going to come out? You're setting new goals. You're trying new things. You're getting more educated in whatever it is, whether it's going back to school or reading books or getting involved in online courses, whatever that means. But it's literally creating a life and starting to do the things that you want to do, because you want to be that new person. When you get that life, there's no time for mischief. There's no time for addictions. There's no time for things that would take away from that life. So that ultimately, those are the pieces that we tend to leave out. But if you don't, if you put those in, you literally will be a different person. For me, you know, in thinking about, you know, a new life, one of the definitions that I you know keep coming back to all over again and again is, you know, what my mom taught me when I was little, that we're all children of God, that I'm a child of God, and that definition, that doesn't leave me with time to make mischief, or time to get involved in addictions and addictive behaviors and that. So I hope this is really helpful. If you have any other questions relating to addictions or addictive behaviors or solutions to that, let us know. And we've got a lot of other videos that will be coming out right away. Thank you. Bye.